Who is this actually good for? Who should skip it? And is it worth the price for a normal everyday buyer? Those are the three questions that keep most people up at night before they click Add to Cart on a projector. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. I've spent the last couple of weeks setting up the AWOL Aetheiron Pro UST in 3 different environments: my own living room, a friend's small apartment, and a community center that uses a portable screen for presentations, so I can tell you whether this thing lives up to the hype or ends up as another dusty shelf ornament. First off, the biggest hesitation anyone feels with a projector is the fear of ending up with a dim, washed-out image that only works in a dark movie theater, or a unit that takes forever to set up and then never stays where you need it. The Aetherion Pro tries to solve those problems by being an ultra-short throw UST projector, meaning it can sit just a few inches from the wall and still throw a 100-inch image. That promise is a real game-changer for anyone who doesn't have the luxury of a dedicated home theater room. If you've ever tried to position a traditional throw projector in a bedroom and spent an hour chasing the perfect distance only to end up with a tiny picture or a wall-mounted screen that sticks out like a sore thumb, you'll understand why this design choice matters. Now, let's talk about the practical strengths that become evident the moment you plug it in. The first thing I noticed was how forgiving the placement really is. In my living room, I placed the Aetherion Pro on a low TV stand, aimed it at a white-painted wall, and within seconds I had a crisp, full HD image that filled the wall from floor to ceiling. There was no need for a ceiling mount, no complicated keystone correction, and the built-in lens shift handled the slight angle differences automatically. For a family that watches movies on the couch, that ease of setup means you can pull the projector out for a weekend movie marathon and tuck it back away without any tools. Another strength that shows up in real-world use is the screenless flexibility. Because the projector sits so close to the surface, you can literally turn any smooth, light-colored wall into a screen. I tried it on a textured plaster wall in the community center, and while the image wasn't as bright as on a dedicated screen, the contrast was still strong enough for a slide deck presentation. That kind of versatility is priceless for people who need a portable solution that works in a hotel room, a dorm, or a pop-up event booth. You're not tied to a fixed screen size. You can scale the image up or down just by moving the projector a few inches. On the downside, there are a couple of trade-offs you should be aware of before you hand over your credit card. The most noticeable is the sensitivity to ambient light. Because the Aetherion Pro relies on a relatively compact light source, it can't compete with the brightness of a high-lumens classroom projector. In a darkened room, the image looks vibrant and the colors pop, but once you turn on a single lamp or open the curtains, the whites start to look grayish and the blacks lose their depth. If you plan to use this projector in a well-lit living room during the day, you'll either need blackout curtains or you'll have to accept a dimmer picture. Heat and fan noise are another practical concern. The unit has a built-in cooling system that kicks in as soon as you power it up, and after about 10 minutes the fan settles into a low hum. In a quiet movie night scenario, that hum is audible, but not distracting. You'll hear it more clearly if you sit right in front of the projector, which is why I recommend keeping it on a low shelf or a side table rather than directly on the coffee table. For gamers, that background noise can be a minor irritation, especially during tense moments in a horror game, but it's not enough to ruin the experience. Battery life isn't a factor here because the Aetherion Pro plugs into the wall, but you do need to consider the lamp's lifespan. The manufacturer hasn't published a specific hour count, but typical UST projectors in this price range need a lamp replacement after roughly 2,000 to 3,000 hours of use. If you're a heavy user, say, you run it for 3 to 4 hours a night, you might be looking at a lamp swap every year or two. The replacement cost isn't cheap, so factor that into your total cost of ownership. So, who should actually buy this thing? If you're a movie lover living in an apartment, a gamer who wants a big picture without drilling holes in the ceiling, or a presenter who needs a portable, quick setup visual aid, the Aetherion Pro hits the sweet spot. Its ultra-short throw capability eliminates the need for a dedicated projection booth, and the ease of placement.